Thanks again to ManaScheduler for sponsoring today's episode and supporting tattoo artists and shop owners. Hey, welcome back to the Bound by Art podcast. I'm Missy Blue, tattoo artist, business owner, and your guide to navigating the chaos that is the tattoo industry. If you're an artist looking to grow your business, attract the right clients, and learn how to survive this career without losing your damn mind, then you are in the right place. Every week, I'll be bringing real talk, actionable tips, and hard-earned lessons from my own journey with a side of good vibes and a little bit of sarcasm. Whether you're new to the game, feeling stuck, or you just need a kick in the ass to get that spark back again, this is the show for you. Welcome to Bound by Art. Now let's get to work. So a few weeks ago, I did an episode on guerrilla marketing and posted a video on Instagram and TikTok or whatever, and had some people responding about it because, so the video, for reference, said it was the clip where I'm talking about you don't need tens of thousands of followers. You just need 100 clients to buy anything that you're selling. And so I got some response from that saying, like, if you have 100 clients, then you have clients, which, yes, that is correct. So I think what they were trying to say was, how do I get my first 100 clients? And that's what I want to talk about today, because I'm like, sure, I could help you with that if you just ask the question nicely. Because, you know, being 21 years in, I'm so far removed from that, from the very beginning of my career, that I often don't think about that. I'm thinking about, you know, when I was in the thick of it, in the middle of my career, still trying to build, still trying to find those clients, still trying to get like diehard, you know, return clients. And it's different in that stage than it is when you're in the very beginning stage and you're just starting out, because you are literally starting from zero. So it's different advice that I would give to that person. So that's what I want to do today. And then on top of that, have you guys been seeing this Cleopatra ink? Yeah, directly calling them out. I don't give a fuck. So Cleopatra ink, if you guys haven't seen, is this very corporate, very, like, admittedly, I've seen one video and it was enough to make me hate the tattoo industry and want to quit. It's very corporate. It's very like, it reminds me of like, I don't even know, like hair cuttery, like the direction that salons are going. So they have, I don't know the controversy about like bringing people over from other countries and not paying them. I don't know anything about that. All I'm seeing is this very like crazy high produced ad that they're running about how there's low wait times and there's people that'll help you like immediately. And there's, just like a ton of artists. They have them all over the world. There's like locations everywhere. They have like their own training. They're teaching people how to tattoo there. It's crazy. It's like everything you should hate as a tattoo artist. So that being said, seeing that video and seeing like, oh, fuck, like every single comment under the video is like tattoo artists being like, fuck this, fuck that, this is bullshit, whatever. And yes, that's how tattoo artists feel. But clients, people that aren't in the tattoo industry, people that are just normal people getting tattooed, they're seeing these ads and they're probably like, fuck yeah, I'm going there. And that sucks for us. And you can't complain that you don't have clients and let shit like that happen and not try to compete with it, because they will take over, because they do have that marketing behind them. They'll fucking run us right over. And, you know, there's always going to be people that don't want that kind of experience, that they want, you know, like a normal tattoo experience, what's normal to us. Sure, there's always going to be people like that, but the more that is normalized, the less people there are going to be that are going to want to come to a shop that isn't so corporate, that isn't so like fucking polished looking and whatever. So that being said, I think it's really important that if you want to continue having if you want the industry to continue the way that it has always been, if you want to protect that, you really are going to have to figure this out. You're really going to have to figure out how to market to your clients, how to sell to them, how to get yourself booked, because they're not just fucking coming knocking down the door anymore. They have lots of options. They have lots of different places they can go. And you may not be their first choice if you're not putting in the same amount of effort as these other places. So that's what I want to talk about today. Where do you start as a brand new tattoo artist when you're trying to build that client list, when you're trying to build up that first 100 clients? Well, first of all, you're going to start with who you already know. And that is your friends, your family, your past coworkers, or maybe you're still working another job until you can fully switch over to tattooing full time. These are the people that are going to get everything started for you. So hopefully you have friends. Hopefully you have people and coworkers that like you and would trust you to do something on them. And hopefully you've been showing like your artwork to them and that you can draw, and they've seen this progress through your apprenticeship to this point where you are now. And they will trust you. So people that you went to school with is a good place to start as well. I know when I started, I think my first, God, it was probably at least the first 20 tattoos I did were all my friends. And all of my friends at the time, by the way, metalheads. So probably the first 15 or so tattoos that I did were fucking skulls. So, got all like skulled out real quick, real early in my career. But, all of my friends were getting tattooed by me, and they weren't paying in the beginning. These were just like practice tattoos, or if they did pay me, I can remember being paid in like fucking carton of cigarettes, or like they would bring me like fucking energy drinks or whatever. Like they're just paying with whatever they had because all my friends were also broke. So, so unfortunately, whatever crew you're like hanging with, like whatever they're making, what kind of money they make, those are going to be your first clients. So hopefully you know some friends with some good jobs, but as you start out, you're basically doing free tattoos just to get the experience, just to get your name out there, just to get promotion, get something in your portfolio. So hitting up your friends and your family and your coworkers and people from school. And then once you get them locked in and they like your work and they have a good experience, they're telling their friends. And that's kind of the deal. Like you want whoever you're tattooing in the beginning to be the people that are going to shout you out, to be the people that know a lot of people or have a lot of friends, or they're going to like try to convince their friends to come get tattooed by you also. Because that's the trade-off, right? We're doing these tattoos for quote free, but they're not really free. We're trading for a service. We're trading them free tattoos for promotion. And that is something that I always recommend people say. Like, yeah, I'll tattoo you for free. However, it's not really free. Like you have to tell people about this. You have to show people, you have to take pictures, you have to post about me. But yeah, I'll do it for free for you. So that's the deal. And people are going to start coming out of the fucking woodwork. So once they hear that you're doing tattoos and once they hear that you're doing them for free, they're probably gonna be showing up and trying to get free tattoos. That is why I also put a rule in place that we're not doing free tattoos forever. And even though they're your good friends, your best friends, whoever the fuck they might be, there, you might be your brothers or your sisters, whatever, do them for free now, but let them know that this is what this would cost. So if I'm doing a tattoo that is, it's a $300 tattoo normally, like, hey, I'm going to do this for free. This is like a $300 tattoo. I'm going to hook you up. Because that way they have the expectation, like you're planting that seed that later on, this is going to cost something and it's not always going to be free. You want to make sure that they know out the gate the value of what they're getting, so that they can appreciate it also. And, maybe they want to tip you and they want to tip you based on what the price of the tattoo would be. There's a lot of reasons to tell them, but you always want to make sure they know this is actually a trade. I'm not just doing this for free out of the kindness of my heart. I'm doing this because I'm trying to build my career. And this is what the value is. And then you want to put a limit on it. So maybe you say I'm doing these free tattoos for, the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be booking free tattoos. And then you're just getting them on your books. And like once those appointments are done, that's it. They don't get free tattoos anymore. And you can also maybe quantify it. Like, so if you get me referrals, then we can talk again about more promotion or, another appointment in the future. So I would definitely be tracking referrals. So if someone comes in and says, they heard from, Joe Schmo, whatever, that you're doing tattoos and they want to get something from you, make sure you're like marking that down and keeping track of who sent them and how many people that person sent, and the people that are really like pushing for you and the people that are really sending you a lot of clients, make sure you reward them, because that's, chances are they're going to be shouting you out the rest of your career, and you want that. You want to keep them happy. You want to keep them talking about you. So make sure you're rewarding them. You could give them, you could set up another free tattoo. Like I was saying, you could, or just give them a discount tattoo, or give them a t-shirt, or paint something for them, or get creative with it and give them some sort of reward or show appreciation to them, because those types of people are so invaluable. You have to make sure you are surrounding yourself with those types. The same rule goes for your family. Don't do free tattoos on your family. I mean, okay, maybe your parents. Like, I feel like that's fair. They fucking raised you. You might owe them a free tattoo. But other than that, no, they don't get free tattoos, especially past your first year of tattooing. You should not be doing free tattoos at all. It's a slippery slope. It's really hard to change directions when you decide like, hey, I can't afford this anymore. Like, I can't afford to be giving you free tattoos all the time. They're gonna remember that you said it was free, and it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a really hard conversation. It's really hard to backtrack from that. So if you set that expectation from the gate, like, hey, I'm just doing free tattoos for like this month or this year or whatever, like, I'm just gonna do it until I get to this point, and then I'm gonna have to start charging again. That way there's no fucking surprise when you say, hey, this is going to cost this much. So then this is a mistake that I made, and I was well into my career at that point. I think I was probably tattooing 5 or 6 years. And I had a friend, she was my best friend at the time, and she was getting a back piece. And I was like, you're never going to have to pay for a tattoo. Like, I got you. I'm never going to charge you for a tattoo. I regretted that so fucking much, because it was like she was getting tattooed all the time. She was wanting to make appointments, get more and more and more. And a back piece takes a long fucking time. It's a lot of hours. And over the years of me tattooing her, I got married. I had kids. I moved away. I moved out of state. I moved back, like had to start over. There was a point in time where I was only working 1 day a week. So I wasn't, because I had babies and we only had one car. So I was only working on Sundays, and like, I didn't have money. Like, I needed my 1 day a week that I worked to be a money-making day. And I couldn't fucking afford to tattoo her for free anymore. And she's like, well, you said it that you would never charge me for a tattoo. And I'm like, I said that 7 or 8 years ago. Like, you've gotten all these years of tattoos for free, and like, I can't do this anymore, and it's really hard to have that conversation. So don't make promises like that to people, because it's hard to keep them, and things change, and you never know. Like, after having my kids and like, then I get divorced, and now I'm a single mom, and now I have to work. And so, there's only one income in my house. I'm supporting 2 kids. Like, it was crazy. And, I did end up, like, I stopped charging her, but goddamn, it didn't go well. And I'm pretty sure that ended our friendship, but don't make that kind of a promise. Past that first year, no free fucking tattoos. This is your livelihood. And unfortunately, your friends and your family are your clients. They were going to turn into your clients, period. Like, you got to charge them or you're not going to make any money. And then on top of that, your clients end up becoming your friends. And then it's like, if I give my friends a free, free tattoos, where's the line? It gets a very fucking messy, very blurred. Just charge everybody, just charge people. And on top of that, your true friends are going to want to support you and they're going to want to pay you. And even like if you want to give them a discount or something, like I've had people where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to like, I'll just charge you this. And they're like, no, dude, just charge me what it's worth. And, you have that like inner battle about it because you don't want to, charge them and you want, that they're struggling with money or whatever. Like you want to cut them a break, but they want to support you. They want to be there for you and support you in your dream and your career. And so just fucking charge them. The people that are always looking for a deal and the people that are always looking for a free tattoo and some kind of like break on the price, probably not your friends, probably not true friends. Like I would be very hesitant to work with these people. So the rule for me is you're either giving me money or we're trading for some kind of a service. So I do have a few people that I trade services with. And again, this is a slippery slope. And I know this doesn't have anything to do with like building your clients, but I just want to mention this because I think it's important. If you're trading someone for tattoos, for whatever it is they're doing. So I trade the girl who does my hair and I trade with the girl who does my lash extensions, which she just stopped doing. So RIP to my lashes. But those are the only two people I trade for shit now because that has burned me so many times in the past. So rule number 1 for that is don't just trade time for time. So my time is not the same as your time. Like if I'm $200 an hour and their service would cost me, $400 for 6 hours, like the math isn't mathing, and you have to make sure that it's a fair trade for both of you. So trade dollar for dollar, period. Don't trade hour for hour. Don't trade like this service for this service because it has to make sense. Because otherwise just fucking work and make the money and then go pay someone to do the thing. Otherwise you're like, so if I spend, I'm trying to do time math on the spot here. So if I'm spending 3 hours tattooing somebody, that's $600 and I'm trading them for a service that's going to cost out of my pocket, it would have cost, $200. This doesn't make sense. This is not a fair trade. Don't do that shit. You have to be aware of that kind of thing. So if you're not going to trade dollar for dollar, don't even fucking bother. But on top of that, make sure that you're trading with somebody who wants to do stuff that you want to do. So I've traded with people in the past where the tattoos that they wanted were like my absolute nightmare, or they weren't what I was good at. And they weren't things that I want to do more of. So the people that I trade with now, they get exactly the work that I like to do. It's really fun to tattoo them. They're my friends. Like we have a good time. It's worth it to me because it is a fair trade. They did like to do what I want to get from them. So it all makes sense. You don't want to spend, you don't want to work out a trade with someone who's doing your hair. So you're tattooing them like every month or every other month and you're doing shit you don't want to fucking do. Like just pay them. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I can remember having to do this whole half sleeve of like, oh my God, what was the tattoo? It was like black and gray. And I want to say it was like the devil and Jesus, like arm wrestling and like there's angels and clouds around it, whatever. Like this is not at all stuff that I do or like to do or am good at. And I think that was my first really hard lesson in trading. I was like, I won't be doing that again. Even when it comes to my husband, he does not get free tattoos. And I know that sounds really fucked up. But like, I don't know. Maybe he should get free tattoos. But I don't make him pay with money. So he pays the same as anyone else. Like he trades. So he works on my car for me. He helps me with like construction stuff, or, he'll do stuff for me in that, in a way that makes sense, where I'm like, yeah, I'll do my job on my day off for you, and you do your job on your day off for me. Like that kind of a trade. I don't know, maybe I'm a bitch about that, but I think I just think it's fair. So yeah, and that's what I tell like literally everyone whenever they are trying to get a free tattoo or a discount or something. I'm like, I make my husband pay for tattoos. Like, think I'm gonna give you a free tattoo? Get the fuck out of here. Everyone pays. The point of all of that was in the very beginning, is do some free tattoos to get some free promotion and get some word of mouth going, and get them to get their friends to come get that tattoo by you. So your friends, your family, old coworkers, people from school. And this is a great opportunity to find those people that you went to school with that were fucking dicks to you, where they're going to like start coming in and be like, oh, you do tattoos now? Like, we're best friends now. I don't remember, like they conveniently forgot how fucking awful they were to you in high school. And then they start coming out of the woodwork like, oh, you do tattoos? Like, remember that time we had so much fun together? And you're like, use them. Fuck it. Like, it would be real easy to hold a grudge and be like, fuck you, I'm not tattooing you. It's better to just take their money and tattoo them, and then tell them to tell people to get tattooed by you. Like, just take it. It's a freebie, Another thing that you want to do is tell everyone what you do. So on the subject of people that you went to school with, there were so many times where these people that knew me like for so long, they'd be like, oh, you do tattoos now? And granted, this was like before the internet, in the dark ages, but I thought that everyone knew what was going on in my life, but they're not paying attention to what I'm doing. They don't care about like my life. They're worried about themselves. They're paying attention to their own lives and their friends and whatever. They are not keeping up with you. So make sure you're always bringing it up in conversation. Everywhere you go, everyone you talk to, talk about tattoos. It shouldn't be hard. It's what you do. If you love what you do, you're gonna naturally talk about it. But this is gonna require probably talking to strangers about it. And every store you go to, like grocery stores and gas stations, or if you go out to dinner or whatever, and people start asking you about your tattoos, even if, people will be like, oh, who did that on your arm? And that's a great opportunity to be like, I do tattoos. You could just answer them and be like, oh, my buddy in Florida did that. Or you can say, my buddy in Florida did that, and I actually do tattoos also. Why? Are you looking to get something? Like, great opening, great way to start that conversation of what you do and letting people know that you do tattoos. So this requires you to be excited about tattooing and tattoos, and be passionate about it, and be interested in talking about it. And you basically have to be like a CrossFitter or like a vegan, where you just like are always talking about it, and be annoying. Who gives a fuck? Like, you think you're being annoying, but you're probably not. And if you are, fuck them. Who cares? Because they can just stop talking to you, and like, you'll find the people that are interested in what you're saying. And that's the whole point of it. Just constantly think, eat, sleep, think, talk about tattoos. And then volunteer yourself. Like I was saying, if someone brings up a tattoo that they want to get, like, hey, let me do that. I want to do that tattoo. Like, who are you gonna get to do that tattoo? Is like, I think the question I would always ask, like, oh, you want to get that? Like, who's gonna do it for you? If they're looking for someone to do their tattoo, and their choice is someone who they have no past experience with, they've never had a conversation with, and this person is like not super stoked about their tattoo, and you're over here like, I would love to do that. I do tattoos. Like, you have this moment with them and this conversation with them, and you're enthusiastic about their idea, they're going to go with you 1000%. There's even been situations where someone was, maybe this is fucked up to admit, but there was even situations like in the beginning where someone would already have someone in mind, like, oh, I'm going to have this person do my tattoo. And I'm like, oh, I would have loved to do that. And I fucking snake their tattoo. I mean, I don't know these people. They were my competition at like a different shop, back in the day. So I'm not saying that's a good thing to do or a cool thing to do, but these people have free will and they can make their decisions on who they want to get tattooed by. And if they just happen to choose you because you're friendlier and you're nicer and you're more excited about their tattoo than the person they were originally going to go with, then is it your fault? I don't know. But just, you have to put yourself out there. You have to have these conversations to find these people, to bring them into your shop to get tattooed. So volunteer yourself, get out there. Anytime someone says the word tattoo, like pop in there, like, oh, did someone say the word tattoo? Be annoying. Who gives a fuck? Get them invested in your journey too. So even though, like, I always recommend my apprentices do this from the beginning when they start apprenticing, like showing what they're working on, like how hard they're working, how passionate they are about tattooing, and, start to finish, showing the whole journey online on their social media and stuff. But doing that in person also, doing that, with your friends and your family and your acquaintances, people that you see every day at the gas station, like, you could have been telling them this story the whole time. Like, I'm apprenticing, I'm learning how to tattoo. And then the next time you go in, they're like, I graduated my apprenticeship, and like, oh, I'm looking for clients. Oh, do you want to get something? Like, I'll hook you up, whatever. Just having these conversations and getting people invested in what you're doing in person, as well as online, as well as on social media, and just keeping them in the loop. So they using that opportunity to show that you're drawing all the time and you're trying to build clients and you're working on this, you're working on that, whatever, is going to get people invested in you and see that they're going to see that you're really passionate about it. And that's going to bring them, that's going to bring them in because they want to get tattooed by someone who's excited about tattooing. Who wants to get tattooed by the grumpy dude who's like, doesn't even know if he wants to tattoo anymore? Like, he's just fucking miserable, doesn't want to be there. I say he because I feel like it is always a he, but I've seen a few women that are like this way too, but I don't know. But nobody wants to get tattooed by that guy who's like, I fucking hate my job, I hate my life. Just like you don't want to fucking go to a restaurant and get served by somebody who hates their life either. So like, be thinking about that. So then once you are getting people coming in, and say you work in a shop where you're getting walk-ins, do everything you can do. This is not the time to turn down clients and turn down projects. This is not the time to be, oh, I want to specialize. You're not there yet. You don't get to specialize until you fucking put in the work. You don't get to specialize until you're in high demand and you have to turn people away because you have too much demand. Once you're there, cool, whatever. Like, if you're not even booked out a week or not booked out a month, like, this is not the time to be turning shit down. Take on everything that walks in the door. Do your best job, like it's the most important tattoo of your entire life. Like, it could be a name tattoo, it could be an armband. Do people still get armbands? Whatever, like whatever bullshit tattoo it is that you probably don't really want to do, and it's not what you're really excited about. Act excited, act like this is the coolest thing ever. Be invested in this, give them the best experience, give them the best tattoo ever, because that person is not one person. That person is every single person they come in contact with after that appointment. And that is a possible future client to you. This is, one person could send you 10 people. One person could send you 20 people throughout your whole career. You want to treat every single person like they're going to echo this story for all of eternity. So do a good job, but don't get in over your head. So if you can't do a portrait, if you can't do a black and gray portrait on somebody, don't fucking do it. That is only going to hurt you. It is okay to tell them, I'm not confident that I can do a good job on this. This person over here is really good at that. Refer them to someone who can take care of them, and just let them know, like, but if you want something like this over here that I can do, that's in my wheelhouse, that's in my ability, I would be happy to do that for you. But this project right here, I'm not ready for. I don't have the experience yet to try something like that. It's okay to tell them that. They're going to appreciate that you're being honest with them. They're going to appreciate that you're not going to just take their money, give them a shitty tattoo, and send them on their way. That's so, so important. Otherwise, do everything. do all the tattoos. Being at the shop is really helpful. So just because you don't have appointments, and I mean, maybe it's different in other shops, because I haven't really worked in a street shop since, my first, I would say my first 10 or so years, I worked in a street shop. So maybe even 15 years. Fuck, it was a long time. But you have to stay till closing. So if the hours are, the hours back then were 12 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday, which is crazy to think about now, what people work now compared to what I worked then. But 12 to 9, Tuesday through, what was it? It was Monday. Oh my God, it was Monday through Saturday, 12 to 9. Holy fuck, that's a long week. But we stayed till 9 o'clock. We were there at 12. We stayed till 9. If someone walks in and wants a tattoo and you're not there, you can't do the tattoo. Like, I don't know how else to explain that to people. Like, if you go home because you're like, oh, I don't have anything to do, and you go home at like 4, you just missed out on, like, if a walk-in came in 30 minutes after you left, you just missed out on a 4-hour tattoo and money and a future client. Like, that's so fucking stupid. Just stay there. What are you going to do? Go home and what? Watch fucking TV? Sit there and draw. Like, be working on stuff. Be working on, like, these are work hours. So if you're not tattooing, be doing something to progress your career. I will never understand this. So, and that's perfect time to be doing stuff that you aren't going to get to do at home because someone's already, like, always interrupting you, or, your dog is driving you crazy, or whatever the fuck is happening at home to distract you. It's better to just work at the shop, at your work where you're supposed to be working. And then when you go home, do your home stuff. Like, keep the things separate as much as you can, as long as you can. Because once you're past this, like, you're going to be bringing work home, and then it gets hard. So be at the shop, answer the phone. Like, if you don't have somebody that answers the phone all the time, be the one that answers the phone. Like, are you hungry for this or not? Do you want these clients or not? Answer the phone, try to, like, get them in the door. Everybody that walks in the door, jump up, talk to them. Like, what can I help you with? I'd love to do that tattoo for you. If they don't want it that day, set them up an appointment. Like, try to get them to book. And if somebody comes in, 30 minutes or an hour before closing, just fucking do the tattoo. What are you doing? Why are we sending them away? And maybe I sound, I don't know, maybe I've turned into like a mean boss, but we always had to do that shit. People would come in right before we close, and we would do the tattoo, and we would stay late. Fuck. One time that sticks out in my memory where somebody came in like literally 30 minutes, 15 minutes before we closed, and wanted a fucking back piece of a tiger. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And my boss was like, yeah, you fucking are. Like, you're staying here. And I was like, okay. Cause, back then I didn't, I was just did what I was told, but, I tattooed this girl for, I think, till 2:00 in the morning. So if we closed at 9, like, I had to draw it first. I don't even think I started, probably a couple hours after that of drawing. I tattooed her until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I'm going home. Like, I can't do this anymore. But, he was like, you got to finish this. She wanted the thing finished. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. But, I don't recommend all that. But if it's doable, like, if you just got to stay like a couple hours late, just fucking do it. If it's a back piece, sure, schedule another day. But if you sat there all day and did nothing, and someone came in right before closing and wanted a couple hour tattoo, like, are you going to really send them away and just take a loss for the whole day when you could have made something? At least, like, let me outline it today. We don't have enough time to do the whole thing, and set them up an appointment to do the rest later. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one, but fuck, be at the shop was the point of that. Just, you have to be there to get the appointments. And also, everybody's shop is different, so this might not be cool in your shop, but the way I run my shop, we all tattoo everybody tattoos everybody. So, like, my clients will go to Vicky or Kenzie or Jackie or whatever. Like, everybody's getting different stuff from different people because we all do different things. We all kind of have a different style. And and no one gets mad about that. No one's upset. Like, I mean, if I did like a fucking Pokemon tattoo or like an anime tattoo on Kenzie's client, then that would probably be a problem. But as long as it's not anything like that, where it's like obviously this person's the choice for this tattoo, we share around here. And if you're here and talking in the conversation, it's showing the clients like your personality, what would it be like to work with you. They start to get to know you and get comfortable with you. And then when they do want something that you would be able to do, or especially, if everybody you work with is super booked up and they just want a name tattoo, and you guys have had like a bunch of really great conversations, they're comfortable with you, they've seen your work, you send your clients over to the other artists to like see what you did afterwards, like, oh, go show Vicky your tattoo, and Vicky's like, oh, it looks great, whatever. So you're starting to build that trust with the other clients that are already in the shop. So when they do want something like that, that someone who's super booked up doesn't have time for, you're the guy, you're the person. So make yourself available to people so that they can get to know you. If you're just fucking piecing out every time you have nothing to do, no one's learning about you. No one knows anything about you. You're like the mysterious, disappearing tattoo artist, and they're less likely to come to you. They might still come to you just because they see your work or whatever, but it's an easier sell if you've had a conversation with them. So while you're at the shop and you're not doing anything, be working on Flash, be drawing, be building out a book full of designs that you want to do. And this is a great time to do that, because then again, with the conversation thing, like people are seeing you draw. Oh, what are you drawing? Oh, I'm working on this. Like, this is the stuff I want to do. And so you're building that kind of like relationship with them in that way too. And they're getting invested in you. Like I was saying before, spend that downtime drawing, pumping out Flash designs, and making them like all different price ranges too. So you want to make like smaller ones that, people will get in book pretty easily, but then also be working towards the pieces that you really want to be doing, the things that you're really passionate about. And I always recommend like the bigger pieces at the very least be fully rendered, like color shading, however you're going to do it as the tattoo. Like spend the time to do that. Like you have the downtime, do that. And make sure that you have prices in mind for all of them. So if someone were to be like, oh, how much do you think you want for that? You can like come back quick with a price and not have to be like, oh, I don't know. It'll just depend on where you put it. Blah, blah, blah. Just give them a price. Be like, probably somewhere between 100 and 200, depending on where you put it, just to give them an idea. And you can make your price range crazy too. You could be like 100 to 500, depending on what you do. Like at this size, this is what I'm thinking. If you make it bigger, it'd be different. If you make it smaller, it'd be different. But that's about the price. That's what people want to hear. They don't need a super exact price, but just make sure you are aware of what you want to charge for things like after they're done, after the drawing is finished. And then you can take that time that you're drawing to, use it as content, like record yourself drawing, post it, like talk about it, put it in your stories, make a full post about it, take pictures of all of your available designs, post those online. This is a great opportunity to make content while you're, like work while you're working, like do all the things and at the same time so that you don't have to work harder later. Like just knock it all out all at once. And then once you're done with your drawing your Flash, hang it at your station. So they may not come over and flip through a book of your drawings, but they might, like when you're sitting there getting tattooed, say, the person at the station next to yours is getting tattooed for 6 hours. They are literally just looking around the room at nothing for 6 hours. Put your drawings up there for them. They have stuff to look at. They're looking at, this piece for 6 hours and they're like, oh, I love that. Like, I wish I could get that. And then, now you're in the conversation and, you're friendly and they're getting to know you and they like your drawing. And now these are more opportunities for people to book with you. And it's a really good way if you do want to specialize in something, like that's a really great way to start pushing people in that direction. So if you're putting your favorite, your best pieces up, at your station for people to look at, they start to get the idea of what it is that you're looking to do. I don't really know that early in the game, in the first year or so of tattooing, that you're going to know what you want to do. Like, it's so early. You're going to change your mind 1,000 times. I've changed my mind. I don't even know how many times since I started, and I'm still changing my mind. Some days I'm like, yeah, pet portraits forever. And then other days I'm like, can't do another pet portrait or I'm going to lose my mind. You're going to flip back and forth, and you're going to have different ideas. You're going to be, you know, interested in different things at different times in your career. So I think it's right. The year in is very early to start specializing. However, it's not forever. Like, if you specialize in something now, you can always change your mind and do something else later. It just requires putting in the same amount of work. So it's almost like starting from scratch. If you change what you do, you have to completely fucking start over. Another great way to get new clients is having a flash day. So everyone does Friday the 13th. It's starting to get kind of watered down, I think, at least in my area. I don't know about you, but people love a Friday the 13th flash day. People love a reason to celebrate and get a tattoo. So different holidays, or, I did like a Mean Girls flash day one time. That was really fun. It was like Mean Girls Day, it's October 3rd. So, different things like that that are like hyper specific, that'll bring people out to get, cheap tattoos that are fun. And that is a chance for you to get a new person in your seat that you can win over, because again, you're going to give them the best experience possible, and you're going to focus on this tattoo. Like, this is the only tattoo that you are ever going to do again in your life, and give them the best tattoo, best experience. And just, you're going to, win them over. You're going to convince them that they want to be your client. And that is a great way to find new people. And if you have your flash up at your station, they're sitting there getting their Friday the 13th tattoo, and they're looking at these and they're like, damn, that's so cool. Yeah, this is what I normally do. If you ever want something like this, let me know. Or that one's not booked yet. If you want it, that's a great opportunity to sell the stuff that you want to do. After you've tattooed them, ask them directly to get another tattoo. Like, ask them, hey, is there anything else that you want to work on? Like, if you have any projects coming up in the future or anything else that you're thinking about getting, that's a good time to, get them on the book. Kind of like a hair salon. So where they're booking your next appointment when you're checking out from, that appointment that day. They're making sure that you're back on the book in like 6 weeks. So do the same thing with tattoos. And they're, a lot of times they're going to be like, no, I don't have anything in mind yet. But maybe they're like, oh, I might want to book that. Well, let me know. If you want to book it 6 months from now, that's cool too. We can do that. And just, asking them flat out, because they might be thinking that, but then they're like, oh, well, I'll reach out when I'm ready. And then they forget, and time goes by. And next thing you know, it's like 2 years and you don't hear from them. So ask them directly. Anything else that you're thinking about getting? Anything else you want to book? I saw you looking at that piece. You want it? Just putting the idea in their head, and also asking them to refer someone. Like, hey, if you have any friends that want to get tattooed, let me know. I'm new in town. Whatever you want to say. Like, I'm looking to book next month or whatever. If you know anyone wants to get tattooed, let them know I exist. Here's some cards. Whatever. Here's some stickers. Give your friends some stickers. Whatever you want to do. But putting that idea in their head, and it's almost like I'm sure most states have you at least do bloodborne pathogens training, I hope, or like first aid training. It's like when there's an emergency situation, they tell you, don't just say, someone call 911. They say, you go call 911. You know what I mean? Like, you point them out and tell them exactly, like, you do this thing. So I like to tell people, like, hey, if you wouldn't mind, write me a review, or if you wouldn't mind, like, send a friend to me or whatever. Like, just asking them specifically for these things, you're like 100 times more likely to actually get that from them than just like waiting and hoping that they're going to do this. And then as you start building this client list, just focusing on giving them the best experience possible while they're in your chair, and also after the experience. So making sure that you're really intentional about staying in contact with them and remembering them, and just being attentive and being there if they need anything, or if they, telling them, like, if you have any problems or questions, feel free to reach out to me and ask me questions. I always tell people, like, I would rather you message me than go on Google and try to like figure it out, or ask a friend or something like that. I would much rather you ask me. So never feel like you're bothering me texting me. I want you to. And that just opens it up, to be more likely that they're going to reach out. And then, I don't want to bother her. I don't, she's busy, or I don't want her to think I'm stupid or whatever. I'm like, no question is stupid. I want you to ask me. And just remembering them and remembering their story and what they do and what their interests are and their name and their face. This is one of the harder ones for me. I have a terrible memory. And I don't know if it's just like an ADD thing, but I have a really hard time remembering people. So much so that there was a girl, I tattooed her probably 6 times, and I never remembered her, and I felt so bad. And the last time I tattooed her, she said something to Vicky about like she's tattooed me 6 times and she never remembers me. And I'm like, fuck, I'm such a dickhead. But also, like, be memorable. I don't know, do something interesting. I think the problem is, like, she doesn't talk very much, so it's really hard to remember somebody if they don't do anything, like, to remember. But it's still on me to try and remember somebody. So, I have a few tips for this that I've learned over the years. So first of all, I learned this, like, I don't know what to call it. I'll call it a name game. So I watched a TED talk on this guy who's like the world champion, like memory guy. I don't know, but he can remember so many fucking names, and he like has this big group of people in the lobby before the whole presentations start, and he's going up and meeting people and asking them their names or whatever. And so when he's on stage, he says, "If I met you in the lobby, stand up." Like, if I talk to you in the lobby, everybody, stand up. And he's like, I'm gonna go through and tell you your names, and if I'm right, sit down. And it was like 50 people or so, and he went through, and every single one of them, he was able to recall their names. And he'd never met them before. This was his first time meeting them, and it was just wild. I'm like, it could not be me ever. But it is. Like, I couldn't be that good at it, but I do have this trick now that does actually fucking work. So the way he describes it is that you attach a picture with their face, and the picture is associated with the name. So I explained that really fucking backwards. Let me try again. So every name that he like experiences or comes into contact with, he associates with a picture. So for like Karen, he thinks of a carrot. So if he meets somebody named Karen, he looks at her face and like say she has big ears or something, and then he pictures carrots in her ears, and he like associates these two pictures in his head, and that's his way of like, he calls it filing. So the reason we can't remember people's names is because we're not filing it properly. So if you he like did this whole demonstration, which I wish I could remember the guy's name so I could just be like, go watch this, but I don't. It was a long time ago. But he's like, so you meet Steve, and he writes Steve on a piece of paper and he throws it on the floor. And he's like, and then you meet Karen, writes Karen, throws it on the floor. And he's like, and then, 4 weeks later, you're in the grocery store, you bump into Steve, but you can't remember his name because you're scrambling to find this information. And he's like, at this point he had like written like 10 names and threw them all over the floor. So he's like, looking all over the floor through all these papers, trying to find the name. He can't find it. He doesn't know which one goes to this person. And he's like, but if you file it properly, and, Steve, I think his association for that was stove. So he thinks of a stove. I don't know if he put Steve in the stove or what, but, so he associates that picture with Steve. And so when he sees them, it's an automatic thing. And it's funny because I remember the exact moment this happened because I got it wrong, but I got it right. Like, it worked. I was like so fucking stoked about it. So, it was a client, and I to this day don't remember if it was Michael or Joshua, but so say his name was Mike, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, Mike, my brother's name is Mike, so I'm going to associate his face with my brother somehow, which I don't recommend doing, by the way, because this didn't work out very well. So the next time I saw him, I was like, Josh, right? And he was like, no, Mike. And I was like, oh, it's so close. I was like, it fucking worked. I can't believe it, because it's like an automatic thing. it's not like I saw him and pictured my brother and like, and then knew that that was his name. It was like an instant, it was like a feeling almost. So like, so when I see him, I think brother, like it just, my mind automatically thought brother. And I knew it was either Mike or Josh because those are my two brothers' names, but I couldn't differentiate the two. So I don't do that anymore, but it fucking worked. And I was like, oh my God, what? It actually does fucking work. So you have to file it properly. So that's one way to remember their name if you see them in public, because that is the worst when you see a client in public and you're like, fuck, why do I know this person? Is it my client? Is it my coworker's client? Did I go to school with them? Where do I fucking know this person from? It sucks. And it was really great when I first moved up here to Pennsylvania because I didn't know anybody. So I knew that if someone out in public knew who I was, it was definitely from the tattoo shop. There was no other way they could have known me. But now I've been here too long, so it doesn't work anymore. Now it's like, who fucking knows where I know them from? But the other thing that I do, which I learned from The Office, if you're an Office fan, is I take notes like Michael Scott does. He has his like Rolodex where he has like notes about all of his clients. I do the same thing, but I do it with my scheduling program. So I use Mana Scheduler, which they sponsor the podcast too, but only because I really actually love them and I asked them to sponsor me. It's not like they came looking for me because, but they have an ability to take notes for all of your clients. You have like a client profile. You can put notes in there. You can like flag like what the experience was like. Was it positive? Was it neutral? Was it negative? Whatever. It's pretty cool. So in those notes, I will put things about what we talked about. So for example, like my client a couple of days ago, she got laid off from her job. So she's been looking for a job. So next time I see her, I can look in my notes and be like, oh, she just got laid off from her job. Like I can ask her like, how did the job search go? Did you find a new job? Whatever, that just these like little notes here, or, her mom's not been doing well. So how's your mom been? Whatever. So these are opportunities where of course, when I read it, I do remember. Yes, it's cheating, but also once I have that note, I actually do remember the entire situation and like, can recall the conversation, but I need like a little bit of a hint, so that's a really good way to do that. But also just like I was saying with the one girl who was just like, I don't remember her because she doesn't talk, but asking good questions and asking the right things to get the interesting information out of people so that you do have things to put in your notes. Something I've talked about in the past is I have these cards that are like, I use them at home with my family. So my kids love them. I just got one that's for teens. I forget what they're called, but it's just like random fucking deep questions. Like, so it's more than just like, how's your week going? What are your plans this weekend? It's like real things like, if you could be like, what would your superhero power be? Or what would your role in the apocalypse be? Like stuff like that, which is just like fun and interesting. Like nobody wants to fucking answer how's your day? Like, who cares? Like, I hate when people ask me, how are you? Good. How are you? Like, what are we doing here? You don't care how I am. I don't care how you are. Like we just talk about something else. Fuck. So just like ask better questions. You get better answers and then you get better notes and then you can remember people better. That works for me. Maybe that won't work for you. Maybe you have better ideas. I would love to hear better ideas if you do have them. So feel free to message me those or, comment on the post from this episode with them, because I'm always looking for better ways to get clients to talk. Because sometimes you get those people that are just like one word answer and you're like, like, okay, guess we're going to have a silent appointment today. I hate that, but if that's what they want, that's what they get. But what a long day that is for me. So, after your appointment's all said and done, follow up with these people. So I check in around 2 or 3 days of healing to see like, how are you healing up? Are you having any issues? Do you have any questions? Because sometimes they might have a question, but they're afraid to ask it, even though you did tell them like, feel free to text me. Like, some people are still really anxious about that kind of thing. So I check in on them. How's it going? Is everything going okay? Is there any issues, any questions, whatever? And then I'm also following up 4 to 6 weeks later because I want to know, how did it heal up? Is there anything that needs to be touched up? And then, if not, like, great, love to hear it. Send me like healed photos or come stop by the shop. That's another hot tip. Get people in the shop. So if you tell them, come by so I can see it healed, if they're local, obviously if they had like a couple hour drive, you don't want to make them come back in, but invite them to come in and show you the healed tattoo. And then once they're in the shop, like, it's like, ooh, and now I'm tempted to get another tattoo. And then that's like another chance to try and book them. So, checking in, how did it heal? That's an opportunity to ask about, how's your mom? How's your dog? Your job? Whatever it was that you talked about during the appointment, that's the time that you can bring that up. Like, hey, I remembered this thing, or thanks for that tip, or thanks for sending me that link, or whatever, just remembering the conversation, remembering about them and what you guys talked about. And, that just asking them, do they have anything else in mind that they want to get? Or do they know anyone that wants another tattoo? Or maybe you have a design that you just, did you see that thing I just posted? It reminded me of you. I don't know if you saw it. Like, I really want to do this piece. Let me know if you're interested. Or tell them about your flash day coming up. Like, we're doing, a fundraiser for Safe Home. We're doing our self-care Saturday coming up, next month. If you guys are interested, like, tell your friends. And they're usually more than happy to do that. They want to be involved. They want to feel like a part of the shop, and they want to support you, especially if they're super happy with their tattoo. And then, rinse and repeat. And that's pretty much my advice. Like, you just make people feel like people, and make them feel important, make them a part of something, get them to invest in your journey and what you're doing, and you'll see your list growing. And then it's like, if you get 10 people, then they tell like 2 people, you know what I mean? Like, it grows and grows and grows from there. So every new client you get in is a chance for them to at least refer you one other client. And it just keeps growing like that. But you have to treat every client like they are your golden client that's going to promote for you, that's going to shout you out, that's going to refer people, because you never fucking know. They could also be the nightmare client that tells everyone how horrible their experience was. So, it's best just to make sure everyone gets the great experience, so there's nothing to talk about, just make that your standard. And that won't, of course, there's always going to be people that you can't please that are never going to be happy. But if you're doing your best to make everyone, give everyone the best experience you can, the chances of those people, or like the instances of those people, are going to be fewer and farther in between. So rinse and repeat, all of that, until your list is growing. And like I said in the guerrilla marketing episode, once you get that 100 people, that list of 100 people that will buy anything you're selling, they want to book all of your available designs, and they're just so stoked about you. They shout you out and just talk about you all the time, tell all their friends about you. Like, there's no way that you won't be successful, but you have to do it one client at a time, and just really put all your intention and focus into that client when they're getting their tattoo and making that the best experience. So I hope that helps you guys.
All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to make some moves today. Remember, it's all about showing up, putting in the work, and staying true to yourself. If you got something out of today's episode, share it with a friend who might need to hear it, and make sure to subscribe so we can keep this momentum going. Get updates on all of our latest episodes, events, and more by following us on social media at Bound by Art Project, and by heading over to the website boundbyart.com. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with my shit. I'll see you next time. Now shut up, quit making excuses, and go get better.